Yo, what's going on? Howie Spangler here. It is Tales from the Green Room, episode number 129. What's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you sub up at the YouTube. And if you're watching on Facebook right now, please give that shit a like and share it. Yo, right now, I got to give it up to my friend Adamivy. This guy's doing some great work for all us artists out there, man. Explaining shit for us, breaking it down. Marketing, Instagram, Spotify, everything, man. You name it. Yeah, bro. What's going on, Adam? How you doing?
Well, first and foremost, I appreciate you including me on your show, and congrats on being well over 100 on your episodes now. That's a feat in itself. Just been living life, man. Kind of staying strong through the pandemic as far as business and mental health goes, but pushing forward and trying to keep my eye on the reason that I do this type of stuff, as I'm sure you do the same.
Yeah, man. It's been a wild year, that's for sure. We
Without question.
yeah, we played our last show March 1st out in Des
Wow.
Moines, and yeah, we were supposed to have like just a killer year after that. Like everything was like lining up so perfect, and got home and things just started falling apart like one show at a time. And it's like once like 4 or 5 shows are gone, it's just kind of like, oh well, there goes my job,
Yeah.
like there goes like everything. So it's incredible.
Yeah, man. Kind of a 180 to that. I'm a very introverted person, believe it or not, even though I'm on YouTube and Instagram all the time. I get to do these videos just in a empty room half the time. So, building the brand over the years to kind of be predicated on people being bored and on their phones and their computers. Luckily has kind of kept everything afloat on that side, but I deal with people every single day who, just like you, had this entire smorgasbord of opportunity to really kill it in 2020. And so, I think at this point we've all cinched up our belt a little bit and got, prepared for 2021 and things starting to open up slowly but surely. And so any glimpse of live performances or opportunity moving forward within reason, obviously we still want everybody to be safe, is very, very much welcomed with open arms.
Yeah. We try to do, we kind of like, when everything started going away, it was like, okay, it's clear we have to take everything online. Like we have to
Mhm.
let's figure out how we're going to do a live stream. Let's figure out how we're going to get people to the merch store, because we hadn't spent like, we were talking about like kind of beefing up the merch store online. But most of our stuff happens at the shows, in person, and
For
we weren't
sure.
really doing much with the store. And then once we got a couple live streams in, we started thinking like, okay, like, because everybody wanted to donate, which was amazing. We're big thankful to the fans for that. But the donation started to go down, and it just sort of normalized. And we
Yeah.
were like, okay, we got to think of something else, because ultimately it's like we got to keep the business alive. We got to keep things going. We can't play shows. What can we do? And the next best thing was to, sell merch, or come up with some really interesting. It forced us to innovate. You know, it forced us
Definitely.
to really like figure out how the hell we were going to survive. And so we were like, let's come up with like limited edition merch that we can just run just for the length of the live stream, or like 24 hours or something. And um, and the fans, I mean, I feel like we deliver and the fans deliver right back, man. They bought all the shit, and they've been keeping us alive the whole time, dude. It's crazy.
No, congrats on that. That's like you said, you have to innovate. Tony Robbins says, I think he created the quote, but he said something along the lines of, you always have to be ready for winter, because no matter how good things are going in your relationship, financially, with opportunity, there's going to be a slow period, or things are going to kind of crumble. So how you can shift when that happens, and how quickly you can kind of innovate and get things moving in a different direction, really kind of separates those who survive and those that kind of go back to the drawing board, waiting for things to go back to the way they were, and sometimes they don't. So congrats on, I mean, that's a smart idea with the limited edition merch and pushing that. And obviously you have a solid group of individuals that want to keep you guys moving forward. So you can't complain there.
Dude, the Ballyhooligans are like, they're the lifeblood, man. It's like,
Yeah.
I think about there's certain artists that aren't doing anything, and
Hmm.
There's certain artists that are like, big enough, and they're going to be fine when everything comes back. But I feel like everybody should sort of be like, did I feel like the fans need this more than ever. Like, we need
Mhm.
music more than ever right now. And if we can't do it at the shows, it takes a little extra effort, and maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just too much effort to set up a whole live stream and and do the thing. But to me, it's like the fans deserve it. Like, the fans are the ones that, even before the pandemic, they're the ones keeping us alive. Essentially, doesn't matter how great your music is if nobody's listening to it. If you don't have people that come to your shows and stream it, although if you're doing it for yourself, that's fine. But if you're trying to make a career, you need
Right.
fans. And these people
Yeah.
are they're the reason. So we try to overdo it, for when it comes to delivery, when it comes to, special things. And I don't know, we just always been that way. And I feel like some artists are missing out on that. And I think fans will remember it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. You need to over deliver, and especially in times like this, you have to delight those who have hung around and shown loyalty to you, because people are looking for positive vibes right now. They're looking for appreciation. They're looking for any type of engagement or communication, really. I mean, we sit around and stare at screens all day till we're, suffering from headaches and depression on some sort of level, or some mental health instabilities, I guess, to put it kind of lightly, and having real human interaction with somebody that you've looked up to and you appreciate their art. Nobody wants to meet negativity with more negativity. So for what you're doing with your fan base and keeping it alive and providing that experience to them, a lot of people aren't. A lot of people are moping around with their, sitting on their hands. And unfortunately, those fans are going to remember that they weren't doing anything, or that they were rude, or that they, were kind of overlooking the fan base that they already had and what they could do with it online. So, what you're doing, I mean, obviously you guys know what you're doing. So, I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, I see. I feel like there's a lot of artists that aren't being proactive and aren't, you know, taking advantage of the moment, like, and trying to innovate and do something special. Um, and then there's people like, I've seen people get really upset about the Spotify thing, with what Daniel X said a few weeks
Yeah.
back. And to me that, I've always kind of had this idea that, I remember back in the day when Spotify started really getting out there, and I was like, what's this? Okay. And I got it. Look, it's amazing for the consumer.
Yeah.
It's like $10. I get every song, right?
Yeah.
But really, it's amazing for the artist too. Yeah, the pay is not as great, but
Yeah.
the we used to have to, spend thousands of dollars, make one of these things. And if I wanted you to hear the song, I had to, like, yo, what's your address?
Yeah.
And then a week later, I have to go to the post office, and it's like,
Mhm.
within seconds, I can send you a link and you're listening to the song. And it's like, what a time to be alive. I feel like,
Yeah.
why fight that? I get it, but,
I think that, with the conversation of the streaming platforms, whether it be Spotify, whether it be Tidal, because everybody always brings them up into the mix of like, oh, they pay way more. Why aren't we, spending more time on Tidal? Like, there's people out there that are still on MySpace, but nobody's on MySpace. I mean, you can choose whatever platform that you want to be on, but nationally syndicated TV shows on a major network are going to get more views, are going to get more exposure, and boost you up a whole lot faster than your local PBS station, even though that's available to you as well. So with Spotify, yeah, the pay's not good at all. But I made the argument in a recent video on YouTube. It's, what does the pay need to be for you to be happy? $1 per stream, $10 per stream. I mean, there's a business model running Spotify with 4,000 employees as well. So I'm not saying at all that the amounts that are being paid are necessarily fair. However, I'm no lawyer, I'm no financial analyst, so I don't know if I'm the best person to be analyzing what would be fair. But it's a great way to be able to get your music out there, and for that, I mean, We have so many resources and tools at our fingertips now to build a brand, to build a name, to kind of slowly but surely become a household name. And, you know, in the 90s, 80s, beyond, that was not a possibility. Like you said, you'd have to go one by one trying to sell, you know, albums online or at the gas station selling mixtapes, you know, $5. Hey man, you need to listen to this. And it's, you know, now it's like you said, you send a link out there and boom, they can connect, and that can turn into a lifelong fan. You just never know. So you need to use it as a resource and use it as a platform rather than, it's not a bank account. Spotify, I mean, obviously if you go viral and you have a crazy amount of legitimate streams, you can make a really good income. But you can do that on YouTube too from the ad revenue. I mean, when it comes to all these platforms, you know, you can get 500,000 views on YouTube every single month, and you get a check for like $800, depending on what kind of content you make. So what governing body says if that's fair or not? We have to look at it in a different way, I think.
Yeah, I just think it's a different time, and it's a different way to distribute. And um, I don't know. I've always looked at music as even the CD back in the day. Like I looked at the CD as just the promotional tool to get people to the shows, to
Yeah.
get people to buy a ticket and, you know, buy a T-shirt, and then next time they bring their friend and they buy a shirt. That's how you grow. And so it's nothing's really changed with this, you know, the streaming model. It's just
Mhm.
that music is just now it's just easier to use as
Yeah.
a promo tool. Um, you know, and that's what it is. Get people to the shows, build lifers, you know. And you know, Daniel X, he was correct in saying just you should release more frequently, you should release more stuff. Like, true, every song you put out there, think of it as an asset. It's like every song
Mhm.
is an asset. You do the work one time and it works for you the rest of your life,
Yeah.
you know, passively while you sleep.
Exactly. You need to be able to build a catalog, because if somebody's really into what they hear, they want more of it.
Yeah.
And so working on an album and releasing every 3 or 4 years doesn't work in the fast-paced society that we live in now. And like you said, I remember, I mean, I've only been doing music for 15 years or so now, but I remember when people were putting out CDs and they would complain how much it cost to press versus what they actually ended up with after they sold it, or that nobody would buy the actual physical copies and they'd end up giving it away. So how much are you investing there with really no return or very little return? It's very similar now, but it's obviously much more saturated because the ease of entry is set so low now to where we can record something on our phone. Technically, we can make a beat or record something in, you know, a very basic 4-track type app, and get it up on Spotify by the end of the month if we really wanted to. And you know, not saying it would go anywhere, but who knows?
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely. I mean, the fact that you can do it doesn't mean you should. I
Yeah.
tell artists all the time, you know, it's like yeah, you've got a production studio in your pocket. Sure, you can record a song if you want, and it might be wonderful. And you know what? And you could put it up and get it up Friday, and everything would be great. Look, Post Malone, dude exploded like overnight virtually, right? SoundCloud,
Mhm.
like it happens, but it's just, you know, you can't bank on that. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it,
100%.
another testament of like, you know, how just the world we're living in right now, you know,
Mhm.
just the incredible time.
I think one reason that so many people are complaining too, and this is just one little small element. I'm not trying to start a war with people online, but we live in a very secluded pocket of time right now, and so many people are introverted. So many people don't have any experience doing shows. They want to be successful the way they want to be successful without ever experiencing discomfort, without ever experiencing rejection, without ever experiencing being up on stage with 5 people in front of them, because that's embarrassing. That's hard. That's
Yeah.
not fun. And so those are the people that are usually barking the loudest, because they want to be able to make $10 a stream for the 5 family members that are streaming their stuff every day with their first ever single released, you know, from their home studio. So I think that the work ethic, Daniel Ek kind of spoke on that in a roundabout way. I think the work ethic needs to be there, and also the patience needs to be there. And you have to earn your keep. I know that people blow up every day. There's a ton of 16, 17, 19-year-olds that are just overnight successes, you know, from what we see on this side of the screen.
Yeah.
Um, But people think that putting a couple songs out on TikTok and next thing you know, you're going to be Adele. Doesn't work like that,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know?
I mean, I came from a time where, we started our band in the 90s. My band's 25 years old this year.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was a kid, man. So it's interesting to see all the different um, uh, versions of the music industry. We came from, you got to get signed to a major label, you got
Yeah.
to put out a record, you got to go on SNL, the VMAs, you got to be on the radio, and it's just not like that anymore. It's
Nope.
completely just, as you said, like just it's very saturated, and now it's flat now,
Mhm.
and it's just like if your shit's good, you know, it's hopefully going to stand out, I guess.
You would hope. I mean, good
You
music
know,
only goes so far, as you know. It's like, you can have a few records that would rival anything you hear on the radio or the Billboard charts, but if you don't have a brand, if you don't have buzz around it, if you don't, I mean, there's a lot of different variables. Unfortunately, there's 1,000 other people that have music just as good as you. I mean, spend a weekend in LA at a writing camp, and you're going to see that there's people that are a whole lot more talented than you. I mean, at least it's the shock of it, right? And so,
right.
social media gives us the ability to, in our pocket, start something, and then how we see it through, obviously, is up to us. But a lot of people do it for 6 months, say that it's too hard, say that it doesn't work, say that they'll never make it, and that everything's rigged, and then they give up, and that's okay, because those people aren't, kind of, unfortunately, they're not built for success. And so, having a band for 25 years, I'm sure you've seen a ton of people come and go. You've played shows with people that no longer exist as an entity in the music industry. And I think half the journey, as far as being successful in any creative venture, is just outlasting the rest of the people.
Yeah, man. I've thought of that recently. It's like, man, I've seen so many like friends bands that just don't exist anymore. And
Yeah.
uh yeah, I mean, it's really about, like, if I quit today, 25 years later, if I quit today, it would be too soon, you know?
Oh yeah.
Like, it's just, you have to just keep going, and things compound. It's like, if you're consistent and you keep, like, I feel like we've been delivering great stuff. You call it content. I mean, music is our content. We've been delivering great content consistently, for at least 15 of those 25 years, and going on tour and getting out there, meeting the people, and always putting stuff out, and just always, I don't know, we don't ever put anything out if we don't feel like it's good, like good enough, we won't release it. Like, we'll just say, yeah, we'll record it again, we'll try again later. But I try to go for quality over quantity. In that respect, because I feel like with music, it's like, you don't want to put out a shitty song. Like, I know, like, guys like Gary Vee, they're like, just make stuff, just keep putting stuff out, just keep making videos. It's like, I think for musicians, it's like, I don't want to put out a bunch of shit songs, just to put
Yeah.
something out,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, shout out to Gary Vee. I mean, he's the motivator that a lot of people need. He's kind of like the dad that a lot of people don't have. But
He's my dad.
with the content that he puts out, he has a team of 10 plus people. B, his content is educational and motivational. It's not creative content such as music. And when you're putting out so much content on a day-to-day basis, just to kind of oversaturate, once everybody comes to market with the same exact strategy, it becomes noise. And then
Mhm.
the quality actually stands out. So obviously, I do believe that you need enough quantity, but it's a balance of the two, because if you put out a whole lot of mediocre stuff, it's not doing anybody any good. It's just taking up server space somewhere for Instagram or Facebook or whatever. So you really have to stand out and be purposeful with what you do. And obviously, you already got that covered, and are thinking about it in the right way. So I wish more people would think about it that way.
Yeah, man, I try to. I think I like to think that I put things out, for myself, for us as the band. It's like, this is just what we have to do. There's been occasions where, we're going for a thing, but I'll do, one of our albums was kind of different from the stuff that had come out before that, just because, the way I was feeling at the time, and, the heavier record. My dad passed away back in 2016, so I had a lot of stuff going on in my mind, and I couldn't write
Yeah.
like happy pop reggae songs. It's just like not.
Right.
I think I was, so I wrote a punk record, man. Just like, and our thing is like we're very we kind of straddle the line between like punk rock, reggae, ska. We're like always been in that.
Sure.
But a lot of the stuff, our bigger songs are more of like the more chill, like reggae things, like the reggae love songs and things.
Yeah.
But this one was just like, I don't know. I just had to like strangle my guitar and like just sing about some dark stuff. And um, I know my management didn't like it. They were just kind of like, can't really do anything with this. I'm like, well, I don't
Right. Right.
care. This is just how I feel. I don't know what you want me to do, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that I like to, my point was that I like to think that I put out things for myself, but I also think that like, I do want to make our fans happy at the same time. You know, I hope they enjoy what we're doing. If I put out something that they don't like, I mean, oh, well, I guess, you know, but I don't know. I like to pay attention to them and kind of see what they want, you know, at the same time.
For sure, man. I mean, they'll guide you as far as what type of music and what vibes and, kind of the sound as it evolves. Cause I'm sure that, you guys over the years have evolved several times, even if it's just slight nuances.
Yeah.
But the one thing that's great about music, and you and I would definitely agree on this, it's therapeutic from a creation standpoint. So sometimes you have to be selfish. Sometimes you have to say, this song is for me. This record is for me, or, for somebody that's in my life that I'm writing about right now. I don't care if anybody likes it, and that's okay, because more songs will come out of you, hopefully. Right.
Yeah, totally, man. So I did want to ask, when did you get into production? Because you started off as a producer, like making beats, right, in your bedroom.
Yeah. I mean, technically started off as a rapper, but that's not something we need to talk about. I started I started rapping in like 2005, and by 2006 I realized like this isn't me. This is like I'm essentially acting. You know what I mean? I enjoy writing. Don't get me wrong. Right now I'm kind of in this pocket of writing a lot of modern country pop albums or pop records right now. Working with some people that I've become good friends with over the years, which is a lot of fun. I'm not the greatest producer of modern country, but I started producing hip hop and R&B back in 2006 when I realized that I didn't need to be behind the mic unless I was doing some voiceover work. But I started producing in Reason 2.5 in Wisconsin, moved to Florida in 2007. Fast forward to 2009, lost my job at the tail end of the financial economic crisis, and had to figure things out. And I had already been making a little bit of money with my beats here and there, kind of person to person. I wasn't selling them online in like a store environment or anything. I was also doing a bunch of graphic design projects for any club or promoter or DJ that would hire me to do some work. Shout out to my cracked version of Photoshop for a few years. Yeah, man. But, from 2009 to 2010, I had to make it work. Like I couldn't trust working for a corporate entity, especially at that point in my life. And between 2009 and 2010, I made about 34 grand selling beats online and doing graphic design and doing WordPress websites for little small businesses, like veterinarians' offices. And I think one dentist orthodontic office. I don't know. And then it kind of just started clicking. I was like, the more I focus on who I am and why people should care and providing more, I was really listening to my user base, especially of past customers, of what they wanted. Anytime they'd email me, hey, do you have this? This guy might not buy it, but somebody's looking for that. And then I quickly realized that whatever was in the top, Billboard charts, if I made something that didn't copycat it, but emulated it, the same vibe, the same feel, that it would sell very quickly. And so between 2010 and 2011 is the first time that I ever did six figures selling beats online. It was like 111,728.
Wow.
Shout out to my buddy, Zach, who called me on it every time I tell people 112. He's like, I saw your PayPal. That wasn't 112. I'm like, okay, you fucker. But it was funny because right around that time, I also had a video go viral on YouTube, like a parody video, laugh, haha, Weird Al type stuff, which unexpectedly opened a lot of doors for me in the corporate side of things, because I didn't realize at the time, but a lot of corporations were looking for viral video specialists, creative direction type people. So all of a sudden, this little acne faced kid with a, skinny necked polo shirts on, was doing Skype and Slack interviews, not really interviews, more so consultations with corporate entities. And then I got some corporate marketing contracts that lasted about 10 years. In fact, I just stopped doing that last year, kind of on a part-time basis. Every title from marketing director, media director, marketing strategist, brand strategist, like they have a whole lot of titles, but they all kind of do the same thing. And that really kind of opened my eyes to how the big boys were doing it. I'm talking like Fortune 1000, Fortune 500 companies. You find yourself in a room full of 13 other people working for a government contractor, trying to promote the small brushless DC motors that they put in torpedo systems to other weapons manufacturers and a lot of different usages, right? But and I was still making music because I was single at the time and I could spend 20 hours doing both. But, you know, fast forward from selling beats to 2014, I decided to make the switch into sync licensing after making some connections via LinkedIn of all places, and started doing what I call jingle music, just some little stinger type, music bed type, gigs, American Pickers, Naked and Afraid, Bad Girls Club, commercial work, little commercials for dozens and dozens of law offices. Have you been hurt in a car accident? Call it. Like, they pay for the music. So, I mean, I'm not complaining. And then, you know, it kind of happened by surprise how I started doing the YouTube content in the marketing and business realm, because I was really frustrated in what I was finding on YouTube. And I just said, F it. I'm going to just start sharing these little ideas and the strategies that I'm using in the corporate world that I've been using for years with my own music and with producer friends and stuff. And so every time I would start getting emails and DMs and stuff like that, I would say, instead of responding to this one person, I'm just going to do a video and share it with all of them. Here's the link. Go look at my answer, essentially. But I've been making music the entire time. Getting back now into working with artists directly has been a lot of fun. Been writing, been putting some skeletons together and sending them out to all different genres. I really am gravitating right now towards neo soul and some funky pop stuff, and got some new synths that I'm enjoying, diving into and spending copious amounts of time twisting knobs and trying to find a sound I like. But yeah, man, it's been kind of crazy.
Dude, that's that's impressive. That's really great. Kudos to you.
Thanks,
for breaking 100K being an artist. That's incredible, dude.
Yeah, it's weird, man. I used to have this raggedy old pair of pajama pants that I would wear all the time. They were, I don't think I washed them very often. I'm sorry if that grosses out anybody watching this, but they were some light green bass fishing PJ pants that I stole from my brother when I was visiting one time. And I would just sit in those with a stained white t-shirt and just make beats until I couldn't stay awake anymore. Just sending out emails and not video DMs at the time. I was like voice DMs through Facebook and whatnot, but figuring it out one day at a time, starting to put money behind the marketing budget. And yeah, man, it's been a wild ride. Absolutely surreal.
I love that, man. So this podcast, Tales from the Green Room, is all about stories like that. You know, just like you're here, you're the proof of, you know, just being assertive and driven and you know, finding a way. You know, and it's like it's like you broke 100K, but I mean, that's incredible, man. There's not a lot of independent artists that can say that right now. You know. And I try to tell people all the time, I'm like, just go for it. Like, whatever it is you want to do, man, do the thing, you know. And yeah, we got to work, you know. It's like, especially if you're older, you got a family and stuff. It's like, yeah, you got to pay the bills, you got to do things, but it's like, you know, there's after hours, you know, you can take. I think people like don't. It's not even that they're like lazy or tired. Maybe they're tired from working and stuff and doing the family, but I feel like people just don't think that it'll ever happen for them. So they just don't even try, you know, and
they waste time because they're afraid to waste time.
Yeah. It's a weird cycle, man. And like,
it really is.
I hate that for people, man. So I try to, you know, that was part of the reason I started this pod, was just like, I want you to understand that like it can happen for you. You just have to go for it, and you have to keep going. It's the thing is, I know people will get frustrated I've been doing this since I was 14 years old.
Yeah.
So it's like I was lucky enough to know what I wanted to do at that young of an age. And I just went for it. And even when it came time to like, so you're gonna apply to some colleges, you're gonna get a job, you're gonna do this. I was like, no, I'm in a band.
Like, no, I'm good, bro.
What do I go to college for? Like,
Yeah.
and I just knew. I ended up doing like 2 semesters at a community college for my grandmother. She really wanted me to, but I told her, I
Sure.
was like, I can't. I did in there. I was like, why am I paying to do this? I'm just wasting money. I'm wasting time. This is not in my heart, but
I
this
I'm
thing
I'm right
is.
there with you, man. I did the same thing, 3 semesters for IT management, and I was like, "No, no."
No.
11 grand later.
It's right.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just it's incredible, man. I think people have to try things, and if there's a possibility, like maybe I should go to college. Look, if you want to go that route, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that, like, listen to, be honest with yourself, and realize, like, look, this is gonna be a hard road, but this is what I want, and I'm gonna lose friends, I'm gonna lose girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever. I'm not gonna, nothing's gonna stand in my way. I seriously have lost girlfriends over this band because I'm just like, I'm
oh,
not,
100%.
it's just this is what I do, and so here I am 25 years later, and I make a pretty good living. I'm not rich or anything, but I support a family, and I can, I got all this going on. I got people that tune in and listen to the music, and this thing that we've built all this time. It just takes time. It can happen,
100%, man. I mean, uh, not to get into my origin story all deep or anything, but my parents got divorced when I was 15, almost 16. My mom left. I have a very good relationship with my mom now, but at the time I didn't know what the hell was going on. And then a year later, my dad, sells the house that we're living in to move in with his at the time girlfriend, and tells me, "Hey, you're almost 17. You can find a place to live, right?"
Whoa.
And so for 3 months, I was essentially homeless, jumping couch to couch, sleeping in my car a few times, and eventually having to have some hard conversations with people that I had strained relationships with in order to have a place to kind of call home again, even if it was a stained mattress in the basement somewhere. But I think those chips on your shoulder, I think those memories of the times that are hard, those adversities that we all go through on multiple different levels, um, really help drive the why and why we do this stuff. You don't have to be rich to say no to opportunities you don't want. You don't have to be rich to take care of a family and be happy, because freedom and fulfillment, purpose, all that matters way more. Happiness matters way more than $100,000 a year or a $50,000 month or a fancy house or fancy watch or cars or anything like that. Cause I chased that for years. I remember my first really good month with Beats, really good. It was like 12,000 something. I bought a Rolex and I was like, I'm the man. Like I started feeling myself a little too much. 2, maybe 3 months later, I had to sell it because I had 3 bad months in a row.
Yeah.
So, and I ended up losing like $1,500 if I remember correctly. So it's like those things don't bring you happiness. You really have to chase your why and say, hey, whether it's the difference between $100,000 or $36,000, if that 36,000 makes you feel like $1,000,000 and gets you up in the morning with a smile on your face, and you're able to spend time and surround yourself with people that genuinely love and care about you, the $100,000 might be real lonely and miserable, or everybody's situation is different, but we have to chase our North Star, not this idea of what happiness or success looks like. We have to kind of fall in love with the success of the progress of the momentum. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude, absolutely. There's for me, I just knew there was nothing that was gonna change my mind. I just, and I've worked a bunch of jobs, like warehouse jobs, and
Sure.
learned how to drive a forklift, and I was like packing trucks and stuff, and
Yeah, man.
I was a server and a bartender for 11 years, and I
Wow.
finally it took, so we started in 95, but we didn't actually get on tour until 2006. It took 11 years to get on tour, but
Wow.
again, I was a kid when I started, so like, by the time, like, I don't know, like, we didn't know how to get started. We played some shows, and I remember like excuse me, calling around some Baltimore clubs and just trying to get gigs. And this one band, and I tell this, the bands ask me like how we get started. One of the things is like hook up with other bands and do swaps. That they'll get you like that's how we got our first club gig in Baltimore. It was
Wow.
this band called Fat Kid, actually, and they're really good. They're like a pop punk band, and they let us open for them at the Auto Bar in Baltimore, and that was our first bar like club gig in a city,
Wow.
and we were just like, "Whoa, this is great!" And they gave us beer. Like we were like 17, dude. They gave us like a case of Coors Light. We're like,
Well, this is
"Okay,
the best day ever.
best day ever." My brother's just like crushing. He's like 15 years old, crushing. But
Oh,
so
man.
is that's how you get started, man. You find a way, and yeah, I knew that like waiting tables or like working at Saks Fifth Avenue or whatever it was, like this is not what I want to do. And
Right.
fuck your 401k. Like I'm gonna go, this is it right here. Um
For sure.
so yeah, so I guess like I must have found you last year sometime then because you said you moved last year, right? You like bought a new place.
So I bought a house last year, but I've been in the Orlando area since 2007 now, so close to 15 years, I suppose. Um, I moved back to Wisconsin for 10 months. Forgot what year, maybe 2010. It was right in the middle of me trying to do music for a living. My brother had a heart issue, and I was really concerned with his risk factors around a surgery he had. So I was like, you know what, family comes first. I wanted to be around him. And then when I knew he was all better, I was like, I remember why I moved away from this place. And then I came back down to Florida. But yeah, man, chasing that drive, chasing that vision is, I mean, you and I are a lot alike. I drove forklifts and had factory jobs. In fact, the first 4 years out of high school, I worked at a wood window factory, making $15 or $16 an hour, working 70 hours a week. And everybody was telling me how lucky I was because of how much money I was making, and didn't really care that I was working 12-hour days. So
Yeah, you didn't feel lucky. You're like, I fucking hate
no,
this. Like,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, I worked at a place where we made, like mini blinds. I made those. So I
sure.
made blinds in all different sizes, like big ones, small ones.
Oh man.
Oh man, in 2007, I can tell you all about blinds.
Yeah, you were blinded by the opportunity.
Yeah, dad
Bad
jokes,
dad
dad
jokes.
jokes.
Yeah, bad dad jokes.
No, they're all great. I mean, um,
Yeah.
so what part of Wisconsin were you from?
Central Wisconsin, just south or just north of Stevens Point. It's a big college town there. Just, I guess, the outskirts of what would be Wausau. I didn't live in Wausau, but that's like the big city. It's like 110,000 people, I think, in the city and the surrounding area. So those of you who are watching or listening, if you know where Minneapolis is, it's 3 hours east. If you know where Chicago is, it's 4 hours northwest. So kind of in between Minneapolis and Milwaukee would be probably the best representation of that.
Okay. Yeah, we
Yeah,
did a couple shows in Milwaukee. We did Warped Tour out there twice,
nice,
and then we did a couple. There's a venue called the Eagle. What is it? It's a really nice venue.
nice.
It's really nice venue, but they got like this pool. Apparently, they have this like haunted pool downstairs in the basement. It's like an
Oh,
old pool, and like Mac Miller's been down there and they like signed his autograph and everything.
oh wow,
Yeah, like people go down there and sign and take pictures. And I didn't. I both times I played there, I still haven't made it down in the pool yet, but
man.
I heard it's pretty rad and it's like haunted and creepy. So that's pretty cool.
No, I don't know Milwaukee like that, but they do have some beautiful venues down there. And obviously, they're a hop, skip, and a jump away from Chicago. So that's always a positive.
Yeah, true, true. um, so when you started doing the YouTube thing, you said you just kind of made a video to like answer questions. I love that. It's like because I've thought of that. I'm like, there's a lot of people
Yeah.
hit me up. Why don't I just make a damn video and be like, hey, this, So what was the video about? What was your first video?
Okay, so the music marketing stuff was much later on. I started on YouTube back in 2009 making beat making videos because I watched a few producers that I looked up to doing the same thing. And then my seventh video ever on YouTube was a parody that I did of Black and Yellow by Wiz Khalifa called Red and Yellow about McDonald's. It's cringeworthy. I haven't watched it for probably a few years, but
Yeah.
that seventh video went viral And that's kind of how I kicked into the corporate marketing gigs. But that also screws up your entire view of how things work on YouTube, because you go from a video that's getting 50 views, maybe the next one, if you're lucky, 110, and so forth and so on. And then all of a sudden you have a video that goes 2 million views in like 3 or 4 weeks. And then there's the director of the video who, as part of our little bartering deal, he could post it on his channel. So between my video and his video, it's like 4 million views. And being played on nationally syndicated radio stations and getting calls to do interviews and being featured on blog posts and MSNBC, ESPN, G4 TV, back when that was a thing. And then all of a sudden the videos after that, they don't go viral. So all of a sudden you're saying, what's wrong with me? So you're chasing this virality, you're chasing this traffic or this high that you experienced in this small pocket of time. And it doesn't, it's hard to, catch lightning twice. So after years of just throwing stuff up against the wall, whether it be beat making videos or cypher videos where I would include rappers and other producers, I said, you know what? I just want to kind of teach this stuff because I'm really passionate about marketing. I feel like I'm a very inquisitive person, and being able to create these campaigns for these large companies as well as infuse this stuff back into my own music career really helped me. So I wanted to teach people how to do that. So when I would get the DMs or the emails, like I mentioned earlier, I would just make videos, and then I would see things that infuriated me with false information. Oh, excuse me. And then I would just make videos kind of not addressing those videos, but the topics of those. And I just got focused in. I said, you know what, why don't we give this a shot? It's helping a lot of people, in the emails and the comments that I was getting, even though on a small scale, were just so kind of heartwarming and gave me a ton of, I felt like I found what I was meant to do. I found like I had a voice. I had a good cadence to how I was teaching, to where it felt very natural, and seeing my opinions, my perspective really helping people in their journey. I didn't think of it as competition because they're doing their thing, I'm doing mine. And it just kind of turned into what it is today, which is unexpected. I never planned on teaching this stuff or having a program or anything like that. But, now I'm 35 and working with, I have over 1,000 students now, which is unreal.
Wow. Damn, good for you, man.
Thanks, man.
I love that, man. It's consistency is certainly super important. When I know you make videos all the time. When I started my my YouTube channel, well, I guess I don't know when I started my YouTube channel. Actually, it's been a while, but I decided January 1st, 2019, that I was gonna like start going hard on it.
Yeah.
And so I did a song of the day every day. And
wow.
So I would just sit here in the studio and I'd turn my camera on and my cool little light, and I would just play one of my songs, and I would throw it up in black and white. And I just started this series, Song of the Day. And I knew right within a week, I was like, oh my God, like I'm seeing the numbers go up. I'm seeing the subs go up, the likes, the comments. And so I kept going with it. And then we had to go back on tour. And I got 46 days in, 46 days every single day, including like a few of those weeks on tour.
Yeah.
And it just got to be so much, man. Cause, being on tour, it's like, you're in the next city. And like by the time we get there, it's time for load in. I got to find a quiet place. And when we get to the West Coast, it's like, cause I was posting at 7 p.m. every day. And then on the West Coast, that's 4 p.m. And it's like, we're just rolling up, to the thing. And I'm like, I just can't keep up with this, So I put up a I'm defeated video, right? Like, all right, guys, look, I can't do this every day, but so when I stopped, it was like immediate, like just not a drop in subs, but a drop in like just in I guess,
engagement.
Engagement. I wasn't getting as many subs and things like that. And that's what showed me, like, oh, I see. Yes. Consistency, keep doing it. You'll grow so much faster. And like people that want to complain about, oh, I don't, I'm not getting follows. It's like, first off, don't worry about that. Don't worry about follows, likes, views, whatever. Engage with who's there and just keep putting out good stuff, or get better if you can. But like, you have to post more. You have to like keep going. And now the way the algorithms work, it's like you can't really spam people. It's like,
no, I mean, the way I always look at it is outbound marketing, and I mentioned this, I think, in an old YouTube video, is if you and I go to the mall on Black Friday or any Friday for that matter, and I say, hey, Howie, let's do 30 people, play tag with 30 people. If you're going to go up to person after person after person and hit them on the shoulder, tag, you're it, tag, you're it, tag, you're it, you're going to get kicked out of the mall real fast, especially in the social climate that we live in. And the same goes for Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. If you're spamming people, you're going to get blocked, you're going to get restricted, you're going to get shadow banned, you're going to get reported as spam, deleted, deactivated. Like, there's so many negatives that are coming from that, because you don't have the right to invade somebody's personal space like that with a request when there's no relationship that's built. There's no notoriety. There's no recognition on their end. And so instead of having some type of reciprocity of where you're providing something and they're giving back, and it's an actual relationship in a symbiotic, partnership there, all of a sudden it's just, hey, listen to me, give me attention. Hey, and it doesn't work. Like, the algorithms fight that, because to get more users on the platforms longer, what would be the enemy of that? Quickly telling people to go somewhere else.
Right.
And so if you're going on there and directing everybody, hey, every single post, go to YouTube. Hey, every single post, go to Spotify. Hey, every single post, go to my website. You're kicking people off the platform. And if I owned a barbershop and you were coming into my barbershop saying like, hey, I got a salon across the street. Hey, I got a salon across the street. I know you're waiting. I don't have a wait right now. I'd put a restraining order on that person. And that's what the platforms do.
That's an incredible way to look at that. I never thought about that. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I just find that being like my son, for example, like he's 10 years old, and he's actually building a YouTube channel. He's been doing it since last Christmas, and he's actually like he's got like 900 subs, dude. Like he's crushing it.
No, that's
And
awesome.
all he does is he does Fortnite montages and stuff, and
Okay.
he puts it with like some of his favorite songs. He keeps getting claimed. I'm like, dude, it's not your music, so you're getting claimed. That's how it happens. He's upset about it.
He needs to go get a Epidemic Sounds account or something and just find stuff that he kind of likes.
Yeah, he loves trap. He loves like the Kid Leroy and like all these like like trap artists. And so he wants to use that stuff because he sees like other guys that he looks up to. He sees them using music. He's like, how are they using it? I'm like, I don't know, man. Maybe he's got a deal. I don't know, but you should be using original content whenever possible. But
100%.
But yeah, man. And he gets on there, and I taught him to like reply to everybody, and just engage. And he's grown like really fast.
That's it, man. And honestly, if he's at 900 now, excuse me, I mean, by this time next year, he could be at 50,000 if he's consistent, because that's the way YouTube works, man. They make room for new creators. I mean, you always are going to get to a point where you see a lull, you'll see a dip, and either you evolve, innovate, and change your content, the structure, and the way that you've been doing things, or your channel dies, unfortunately, unless you're like Casey Neistat.
Dude, he is the king of YouTube.
Yes, and he's very friendly with the YouTube gods. So he could take a 2-year break, come back. Next thing you know, he's on the trending page every day.
Dude, I don't know, man. I love his video. Who doesn't love his videos?
It's so real. It's so like authentic. You know what I mean? It just makes you feel good. And it's, at least his recent videos aren't too long to where you feel like you're wasting half the day watching them.
Yeah, they're like 5-minute videos, and I just love it, man. He's so creative with his shots, and like I don't know if he's done it, but I would love to see like what his workflow is like. How do you do this? What's your editing flow? When are you uploading? Like he seems to be so fast. He does all that in a day. There's like drone footage, all kinds of stuff. He's got
repetition, man. Repetition. Yeah. I'm sure that you could lay down a record real fast with as much experience as you have. No different than he can lay down a video pretty damn quick, especially because he's the king of done is better than perfect,
Yeah. That's a great point. Repetition and investing in your craft, working on your craft.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was saying to you before we got on, I kind of want some people to know about this, like your thoughts on it. Like I feel like my Instagram lately is just getting shut down. Like every time I make a post, it's like I can't even look again. I said, I don't care about likes and shit, but I think
Yeah.
you should use it as a gauge in a way, right? You should at least
100%.
see
Yeah.
what's
You got
happening,
to pay attention.
pay
Yeah.
attention. So maybe I'm not making the best stuff or whatever, but a lot of my stuff lately is just like nothing. No, not even 100 likes, Like
Yeah.
what is happening, Adam? What's going on?
All right. So a couple things. I'll just ramble through this very quickly. So if you're watching this or listening, make sure you take some notes because this is just some off the dome type of knowledge
For all you
stuff
artists
about
out there.
Instagram. Yeah. So Instagram recently reeled out or brought out Reels, right? No pun intended. So brought out Reels, which is a direct TikTok competitor. They're trying to make a dent in the market there and become a serious competitor. So what they're doing is they're showing Reels, they're showing suggested Reels, not only on your main timeline every so often. If you scroll down, you might see a bunch of Reels, but they're also taking up a ton of real estate in the Explore, aka Discover page. If you click the little magnifying glass icon in your app. And what does that mean? Well, each of these Reels that they're promoting takes up the equivalent of 4 spaces that would be 4 regular posts or videos. What that means is that they're taking up a significant amount of real estate from showing our regular posts to now promoting Reels to make that kind of a normal feature that people are very familiar with. They're still new to so many people. In fact, some people didn't even have Reels until very recently with the rollout. What this is going to do is it's not only going to give us easier traffic, easier discoverability if we utilize Reels early on before it gets oversaturated and everybody's doing it, but it's also going to be able to boost discoverability because the more traffic and reach that you're getting from people that are going to Reels, the more reach and the engagement and everything that is triggering Instagram to then show your content, show your other content to the rest of the world, right? Open it up. Now, if you're using hashtag lists, it's very important, in my opinion, to use hashtags on every single one of your posts. I post them as the first comment because then I can go back a few days later and then delete those just to tidy things up and kind of remove that from the radar of Instagram spam filtering.
Interesting. Okay.
Because think about it this way. If you go and you use hashtag producer, which is a very, very saturated hashtag, within 5 hours, because of how saturated it is, people would have to scroll down for 10 minutes in order to find any of those posts. So after 3 or 4 days, the usage of that hashtag, if you're using hashtags that are oversaturated, is worthless. So you can go delete those. You're not going to be discovered using those. It's kind of a Krispy Kreme mentality. It needs to be hot and fresh in order for anybody to be interested. So when it comes to those hashtag lists, it's a double-edged sword because if you're using the same list, and I see this time and time again, people build a list of 30 or 25 or whatever. I typically use 28 just to kind of back off the maximum, which would be 30. And then I cycle through 3 or 4 different lists every 4 to 6 weeks, completely scrap that list and make new lists. And you can make a jumble of different combinations from past lists, but Instagram is going to scroll through and just like, some type of sci-fi movie, they're going to see the same exact pattern if you're posting too often, which symbolizes to them that might be spammy content. Another thing Instagram doesn't really talk about, but is if you have a custom graphic design image or you have a video that's over maybe like a visualizer, an audio visualizer, those don't get reach because they look like advertisements to their scanners, right? Facebook for years, they just actually recently removed this into early September. They had a rule that if you were doing paid ads, the text on those paid ads couldn't take up any more than 20% of the image. And in fact, a lot of times it was like 10 or 15%. But now Instagram's the same way. If you have a graphic designed image or something that looks like a club flyer or a promotional thing, Instagram won't show it to anybody regardless of how good your hashtags are. A prime example of this is recently, a few weeks ago, I did a podcast interview with a couple DJ friends of mine. And it was a great looking flyer. I asked them, hey, can I make something up? They're like, no, just post that. And I'm like, okay, it's not going to go anywhere. And with 60 something thousand followers, it barely reached 400 people, even with hashtags, because they want to sell advertising space. They want to sell, paid marketing. They don't want you doing advertising and marketing in the old traditional way yourself. So anything that they think might be promoting something without giving them a cut of it, they're going to be kind of leery about. That's why I always suggest having your face in images, having images of what you like to do, maybe a dog, your studio, your significant other. Make it more personal, and then let the context, the captions really tell the rest of the story. Excuse me. when it comes to Instagram's algorithm, we can run away from the boogeyman as much as we want. We have to just keep evolving and playing by the rules. I remember when stories came out 2-3 years ago, everybody was dealing with the same thing. Oh my, nobody's looking at my post. Yeah, because they were promoting stories till they were blue in the face. Same with IGTV when that rolled out. So anytime a platform, especially Instagram, comes out with a new feature, a new, I guess feature would be the best word for it. Anytime they come out with a new feature, you need to start utilizing it immediately and start becoming an early adopter, because you're going to get a huge spike off of that until it kind of flatlines and they stop pushing it as hard, because they're going to get to a point where they know that it's a normal day-to-day occurrence for people to use that or consider that as an option for posting their content. Another great thing is when you post to Reels, even though it's a 15-second limit, it really does give you the same ability to reach an audience in two separate ways, because there's a little tab that you can hit that posts it to your main account as well as your Reels account, so that they're showing it as a Reel and they're showing it as a main post. And you're still allowed to do the hashtags on those. So I could talk to you about Instagram marketing till I'm blue in the face. Obviously use geotags. Obviously make sure that you're sharing every single person that engages with your stuff. As far as sharing, put those up in your story, show some appreciation, comment back on all the comments. They want to see that you're engaging with people within the platform and keeping people there longer. People get awarded for, time on the app. So if people are really spending a lot of time on the app, you're good as gold. I mean, I looked at The Rock's statistics lately, and he has less than a 1% engagement rate on, I believe, 18 million followers. And, it didn't make me feel so bad about my 3% over the last few weeks overall, because as long as your account is still growing, you're going to have ebbs and flows on every single platform for the rest of the time. I promise you that.
Wow, that was a wonderful explanation. You must
Well,
do this for a living.
Yeah, yes, I do.
Dude, it's incredible, man. And that goes for anybody. You don't have to just be in a band or be a producer, man. This goes for any type of brand out there. Listen to what Adam's saying here, because this all applies to you. And you kind of started to go down a little road I wanted to get into, actually.
Sure.
And you touched on it a little bit earlier. So I tell artists a lot, when they ask or whatever, and especially on the show, that it's not just about the music anymore. For my music artist, it's not about music anymore. It's about, you. It's about, the brand, right? And I hate to say it, the brand, but that's essentially what it is. And I think the sooner you embrace that, the more successful you're going to be, and it can really open things up. And I have friends that are great musicians, but they're not good at tech. They're not good at these
Yeah.
platforms. And I've schooled a few of my friends, like, bro, are you doing this? Are you doing this? Like, come on, man. Like, you deserve to be seen. You deserve, better than this. They just don't know how to do this stuff. So, I think it's about more than the music. It's about you as a person, you as a brand, but so yeah, and you can decide how personal you want to get. But I pretty much I'm like an open book, man. I'll talk about
Yeah.
pretty much everything. And I just let people know this is me, like, no bullshit. And I just happen to have a wealth of knowledge from years of doing this. So I'm just free to give it out. So I tell artists, I'm like, look, man, you got to learn how to use Instagram. You got to do some YouTube videos. You got to be engaging with the people that are leaving comments. They deserve to be, reply back to you, like they took the time. What are your views on this?
Acknowledgement goes far beyond any words that you respond to somebody. I mean, hearting a comment, responding with some emojis or a couple sentences, even that would be best. Side note is a couple sentences. But I think that the acknowledgement, when it comes to building a brand, people don't realize music is not your brand. Music is a product. No different than Nike is not shin guards. The shin guards are a product. So are the footballs and the sneakers and the leggings and the hoodies. The hoodie that I'm wearing right now is a product. This isn't Nike itself. So whether Nike went bankrupt today, Nike went and changed out everything that they're offering, they're still Nike, good or bad. So you and I, as creators, branding shouldn't be a 4-letter word because our music is going to change. Look at guys like Michael Jackson, Celine Dion. The music has evolved over decades. Look at producers like David Foster, Quincy Jones. If they just stayed in one sound, they would have been ousted out of the music industry years ago. The brand is what the vision is. The brand is what comes to the table, and the products are the music, right? The products can be content too that promotes back to the music, but we need to build an ecosystem. I think that building a cohesive ecosystem with like content. So I say that in the sense of, let's say that you just like to write, you don't like being on camera. Well, maybe Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, those might be good platforms for you. If you like being in front of a camera, whether it be a fancy camera or your phone, you could be on YouTube, you could be on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Those are also options for you. You can grow on LinkedIn. You can grow on Pinterest. Nobody ever talks about Pinterest, but there's absolutely options for you to grow on all these different platforms that you like. So many people try to swim upstream. They're like, well, I don't like being on camera. I can't do that. Well, don't then. But then put that focus into something that you actually do enjoy, because your brand is what you're left with when nobody cares about the music anymore. When the timeless classics have now changed and that just sounds dated. When you want to take a break, maybe you want to retire from music completely and just spend time with your wife, and you want to travel the country and have a blog on YouTube or a vlog on YouTube or Instagram, and now you have a travel channel. They're following you because you're the brand. You're the person that's hitting those emotional triggers. You're the person that is interesting them, right? So we can have one song, and there's a million different one-hit wonders. Unfortunately, you can't have a whole career predicated on one single unless you win the lottery in the music industry, which does happen. So I'm not here to say it won't happen, but you have a better chance of winning the lottery, let's be honest. Yeah. So building the brand allows you to evolve as a person. It allows you to kind of reinvent yourself over time and say, you know what? I'm not really interested in this particular thing, and come with me. And every single person is going to say, I support you. I'm going to follow you with, where you're going now. Maybe not every single person. I don't live in a Disney movie, but you get what I'm saying. When it comes to the branding thing, you can look at me, prime example. I've done corporate marketing. I've made beats, hip hop beats for artists such as Mod Sun and G-Eazy and all that good stuff. I've also made jingles for Subway commercials and little music beds for lawyer commercials and all this type of stuff. So now I'm considered a YouTuber to some people, and everybody identifies me as a different thing in their life, but I'm the same person with all the different business entities, with all the different revenue streams. So they might discover a part of me that they didn't know. They might really be into it. They might not be, but I'm still providing something to them that they're really interested in. And it's coming from me, not just a product. I mean, think about the metaphor of going to a store in the mall. You're promoting, and they finally show up to the store and you only have 3 or 4 things on the shelf. You're not going to keep them real long unless you're a charismatic salesperson behind the counter who can keep them there. You are the brand. The things that are on the shelves are your singles. People don't really care that much about a band unless they have that emotional trigger. They don't care about an artist unless they see something that's relatable. Good music goes so far, but the brand takes you the rest of the way.
Yeah, man, dude, well said. It's kind of like how not even music. It's like, look at Will Smith and Jack Black are like YouTube stars now. Like it's
Very true.
Yeah, man. They were smart enough, or their people were smart enough to tell them, to say, hey, look, this is just where we're at now. Like,
Yeah.
This is how people like become celebrities now, is like, social media. It's not really about the movies anymore. It's very strange. It's not, things are, I think when you cling to tradition, just kind of like, you kind of get left behind, you know?
100%.
Yeah, man. And so it's cool. I think it's really cool to see these guys doing this stuff, and I think it's neat. They're they've learned to adapt, and they're staying in touch with a younger audience too. It's like you got to keep. It's like I read an article recently about like rock music, how it's definitely not the most popular music anymore. I mean, we've known that for years, I think, but um, it seems to be that there's no new rock fans. I'm sure there are, but not in droves, not enough to like actually keep it going, like sustain it. Because they don't really, those artists and stuff, they don't really, uh, they don't, like, young people don't get into them,
Yeah.
and you need young people because when everybody else, you're either the same age, getting old, everybody's gonna die off eventually. You got to keep, it's got to, that
Yeah.
new generation needs to get it, and they're just not picking up on it. And I just feel like,
Just
you know, yeah, go
Yeah, man.
ahead.
I mean, look at golf. Look at golf 15 years ago, 20 years ago, before Tiger Woods came into the play. You know, golf was dying. And now you got guys like Rory McIlroy, and you have all these young bucks that are our age or younger, much younger, and it revitalized it. So, I mean, the same thing has to happen with music. There has to be a new wave. And if things don't evolve, no matter what genre, you go look at classic country, traditional country compared to this modern pop country, the bro country stuff. Completely different vibe from the same, deriving from the same genre, but they're going to who's listening now, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Um, so what would you say to an artist, and this could be anything, music, painter, photographer, video,
Sure.
whatever, writer. What would you say to a creative, that's getting started right now? Like, what would you tell them to get them pumped? I feel like you can do it, man. You're the guy.
Yeah, I mean, thanks, dude. I think that it
Get me
always
pumped
takes
again.
longer. I think it always takes longer than you think it's going to take. You have to be patient. And I say that a lot, so I'm not trying to sound like a broken record. But one thing that we have to realize is that as a creative, I don't care if you're an influencer in the makeup space or fitness or music, or you do traditional artwork with a brush and paint, your best work is not going to be done ever, right? You're going to continue to create. It's something that we continue to chase. We don't just make 5 things and then we're good to go. The person that is going to be most consistent over time, the person that is going to sustain, will have a sustainable career. You just have to find your stride. A lot of times we're going to throw a lot of things up against the wall. We're going to have a whole lot of hit and misses, but there's going to be people that quit every 3 months because they're dabblers, and dabblers are great because we can surpass them. It's all about that origin story. One thing I live by is you can't be afraid or embarrassed of the content that you post, no matter how amateur it looks, because no documentaries are made, no autobiographies or biographies, I always get them twisted, are ever written or created without any origin content. So we need to be able to track where we came from in order to understand where we're going. That growth is so important, and you should have fun along the way, but don't confuse frustration. Don't confuse not having fun with it's not working, because no matter what you're doing for a living, it's going to feel like work at times. Music is not fun 100% of the time once you're doing it as a career. No different than there's a million people out there right now that have weed whackers and lawnmowers in their garage, and they're not trying to build a lawn mowing company. It's completely different. Music and the music business, 2 separate things, no different than any creative venture, no different than any entrepreneurial journey. Whether you're starting a t-shirt business, whether you want to start, some type of coffee invention, you're going to hit roadblocks. You're going to hit obstacles. That's the only way to go through. There's no alternative. I was just talking about this with a buddy of mine earlier today. Obstacles. Ryan Holiday actually wrote a great book called The Obstacle is the Way, because
I read it
there's,
twice. Shit's good.
yeah, it's a great book. So I mean,
So good.
either you continue on or you quit. There's no alternative. If this didn't happen, it happened, right? So you just got to keep rolling with the punches, continue to evolve, continue to do better, have fun, surround yourself with people that understand your vision. They don't have to see your vision, because only you and I are going to be able to see it up in our fat heads of ours. But don't let people try to drag you down or put you into this realistic box, because them telling you it's realistic is only realistic to the confines of what they see possible for their own life.
Dude, absolutely. Well said. That, you know, the next thing I wanted to say was that I wanted to ask you about that. Like, the people that are like ready to do it, they know what they want to do, but they're worried about what their friends are going to say, what their family's going to say. That kind of thing. Like, either, I mean, there's even times where, as much as I've done, where I feel like I'm ready to do something, and
Yeah.
I'll think twice, because I'm like, nobody wants to see this, or like, I'm gonna look stupid. It's like, I think a lot of people deal with that. It's real. It's like, how do you get around that? I feel like we are the only ones standing in our way ultimately.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, yeah, like how how might you tell someone to get around that?
It's not getting around it, it's getting through it really, because if you look at it, it's so easy, 100%, like super easy to find a justification or validation in our own doubts, because we could find so many people that'll tell us it's not possible. We'll find so many people that have failed. We'll find so many people that are so cynical, so skeptical of any positive outcome coming out of what they're trying to do, that we can convince ourselves. No different than, they say that, one bad experience for a customer will lead to 11 bad reviews or something like that. But the positive outcome usually doesn't lead to or lead to any reviews, because people just expect things to be going well. So you can't go out and look for examples of people that are just like you, that have done it, that have made a life for it, and that are willing to give you a 25-minute phone call to tell you exactly how to make it happen. Because it just doesn't happen like that. Like I said, we don't live in a Disney movie. What we have to do is we have to envision the outcome so vividly. My buddy Isaac says it the best. You can't explain to somebody what the color blue looks like. You have to show them. So if your vision, if your motivation, if your drive to lead to an actual result is so strong, don't worry about telling them what you're going to do at every step. Show them. Don't worry about massive failures. It's only a massive failure if you set this thing up and you told them, I'm going to move to Nashville. I'm going to get a record deal in 1 year. I'm going to, because you're setting yourself up with an unrealistic time frame, which you don't have control of. Yeah. If you just say, hey, I'm going to move to Nashville because I really want to see what's out there and available to me, and I just want your support. They might not like the fact that you're going to Nashville, but there's a whole lot of less disappointments lined up that they can tell you, I told you so, told you so, told you so, told you so. You got to kind of move in silence, even though it's so hard, because all we look for is validation and love and support from people that we look up to. But people want to protect you. And so what do people do when they're protecting you? They shelter you. They try to bring you inside. They try to cover you. They try to hold on tight. They try to leash you up, put you in a cage. But that doesn't lead to growth. That doesn't lead to extraordinary things. I say all the time that I'm trying to break the cycle because I grew up very poor. I grew up with way more love in the household than I did money. And I love the way I grew up because it kind of made me who I am today, and it built my character and integrity and all other sorts of crap, and put a couple chips up on my shoulder. But because of that, everybody wanted to kind of keep me. Like I said earlier, I was working in a wood window factory making, I think, $40-something thousand a year because of all the overtime I was working. I always felt tired, always looked tired, didn't want to do anything with any of my friends because I worked second shift. And yet people were telling me I was successful. And I said, if this is what success feels like, I don't want to be successful. I'd rather be a failure doing something that I could sleep and have fun doing. And so, you have to venture out and make a new path. And if you want to break the cycle, you can't stay in the cycle. So, if you want to go get it bad enough, show the people what you're capable of instead of talking about it, because results lead to rewards, lead to, some other marketing brandable type of shit that's supposed to inspire you guys. Sometimes I run out of it. I mean, you got to do it. You got to do it. I'm not Tony Robbins. I'm just a regular guy that's fucking been doing it for a long time. So at the end of the day, you really have to just keep pushing through, and people that won't, it's okay for somebody to tell you once to be careful. It's okay for somebody that you really love and respect to tell you, hey, I'm not sure this is going to work. But if you tell them over and over, this is what you're going to do, and they're still doubting you, and they're getting discouraged in your friendship, in your family dynamic, because you're going out and having a brain of your own, having a mind of your own, and a drive that might exceed what they're capable of, you might have to put them on pause for a while and then revisit that whole relationship later while you're working, because trust me, those toxic relationships and those doubters are really going to affect your own self-confidence and your limiting beliefs.
Dude, 100%, man. Like the misery is out there, and it's waiting in the shadows. There's sometimes actually in broad daylight. Misery is in broad daylight. What am I talking about? Like, it's ready to grab you, and there's those times where I've just felt like, oh, what am I doing? None of this is worth it. I'm just gonna, I'm done. Whatever, I'm done. It's like, I come back. I love it too much. I come back to it, but yeah, man, there's definitely those moments, and we're all, I think a lot more of us are depressed than is reported, and it's tough enough out there. So I always try to say, like, dude, if you have friends or family that's doing something for themselves, that they're doing something, you know, different, support them, like let them know that, like, bro, that is awesome. I love that you're doing this. Um, you got to keep going, like, I don't know, just be supportive, man. There's nothing worse than that misery,
Yeah.
Oh, that's awful.
Absolutely, man. I think that a lot of people start asking themselves, and I've had close friends of mine that have come up to me and said, Adam, like, this is very close paraphrasing to something that happened years ago. One of my close friends came up to me and he almost started crying. He said, I'm so fucking proud of you, but you make me feel like a piece of shit because of how driven you are. I go home and want to play PlayStation. You go home and you don't turn the TV on. You dive into the computer. You go to the gym. You're waking up early, even though you don't have to. Nobody's telling you to. And so you have to really want it. You have to want what you are working towards a whole lot more than want to go back to where you came from.
Yeah, dude. I know. There's people that even I like, I feel like I work pretty damn hard, but like, I see people. I mean, you're obviously you putting out these great videos. Your set looks amazing. I already said that before we went on. Like, the shit looks
Thank
so
you.
pro. Yeah, man. But it's a result of years of work and learning and experience. It's just and here you are. And I just think, like, I can't reiterate enough. Like, just people, if you want it, just go get it, and you can make something happen for yourself. And yeah. It's so. Let's see. Amity here says, "Misery loves company, and those who don't believe in themselves won't believe in you either." Absolutely,
Shout out to
absolutely.
Amity.
Yeah, man. Yeah, if anybody has any questions here for Adam before I let him go, please shoot. Whatever, music marketing, production tips, life coach advice, like, please.
Life coach. That's funny.
I think you have a career in life coaching at some point, bro.
Man, I want to get up on stage and kind of put together some type of speech or keynote type presentation. I feel like that's the next move in my life. I used to deal with real bad social anxiety. And like I said earlier, I'm kind of an ambivert, which is a hybrid between introvert, extrovert. But I don't know about life coaching, man. I can provide some comedic relief. And the only reason the set looks like this is because I spend like 10 hours a day in this office. So I need it to be inspiring for me. And I spent way too many years sitting in a cubicle in a office with no windows to be reminded of that. So I reinvest back into making myself just feel like I'm floating in a spaceship at all times, and really try to give my viewers the best experience because they invest in me with their time on YouTube. So I'm trying to give them some badass visuals to go along with the quality of the messaging, kind of keep them interested. I might get some like random flashing lights to, play some games for audience retention. Who knows?
Yeah, dude. I mean, the set looks great. The studio looks great. The videos look awesome, and
Appreciate that,
definitely.
man.
Well, I'll make sure to shout out all your stuff at the end of this. But go subscribe this guy on YouTube and watch his videos. Good
Thank you,
stuff.
sir.
Let's see. Nick has a question. What would be the best route for an unestablished band right now? Keep our heads down and create a lot of content, or start releasing music as we get it done and focus on creating a following?
Hey, Nick, thanks for the question. As far as an unestablished band, somebody that's just getting up and running, obviously I think content is very important with the consistency, but if you have a single, you need to kind of put a launch plan together, and kind of just understand that the first couple, especially as you're getting established, even though you've put in the time, even though you've put in the money, it might not hit at first. We're looking for that long-term momentum instead of those short-term spikes. Short-term spikes being some of these people that are kind of lazy, or they're preyed upon. It's not always laziness. Sometimes people don't know better. They'll go spend money on a Spotify promo company to get a bunch of bots from India. They're like, oh, my entire following's from Sri Lanka. I didn't know. It's like, no, those aren't real streams. But what you have to do is put out content and really engage. I don't care if it's 5 people. Go find a band that's very similar to your sound. Go through all of their followers, see who's commenting and interacting with their posts. Comment, ask them a question, go on theirs, like some of their stuff, because those are people that are actively active, they're actively engaging with somebody that might be in the same realm as you. Therefore, it's low-hanging fruit. People that are already commenting, people that are already involved in a band that might sound like you. And I'm not talking about like humongous bands, right? I'm talking about maybe halfway between you and the big top or the big show. So find a band that's just up and coming, a new name, a new face in the space. Make sure that your bio tells people why they should care, who you are, where to go, have some direct calls to action. Obviously don't have your profile on private or have a, some type of meme as a profile photo, and start building it out. Start using these little puzzle pieces, no different than putting a song together to grow an account, whether it be on YouTube or Instagram. And like I mentioned earlier, get all the different type of platforms that are symbiotic, that go together to build an ecosystem, because just Instagram alone, for the most part, is not going to build a career. Email marketing alone doesn't work if you're not anywhere else. In order to be heard these days, it's a whole lot easier as long as you're seen. And then from there, you can really get a target audience down pat. You'll know who you're marketing to, and therefore you can refine your messaging. And then when you want to start spending money, the money actually gives you a return rather than throwing things up against the wall, hoping. A whole lot of people are doing hope marketing right now. Just, yeah, let's promote this post because Facebook says it's, whatever Instagram shows, it says this post is performing 90% better than, no, it's not. You're just trying to get me to spend money with you.
Come on,
don't lie to me.
I get those all
so that's
the time,
what I would
dude.
say, Nick. Get the content out there. Let people know who you are, why they should care. Get a single ready, get some cover art ready, submit it to Spotify curated playlist 3 to 4 weeks before it goes live. As soon as it goes live, submit it to blogs, submit it to playlists. And yeah, man, support other bands, support other people, and then get the audience to share the stuff. Tell them to take a screenshot of everybody who's pre-saved your stuff. I mean, there's like we could be here for another 2 hours as far as like a Spotify launch blueprint, but that's a good start. You just need to jump in, start putting out good content.
Yeah, that's great, man. Nick, thanks for the question, man. If you want more information, go sub up to his channel and go get more info like that.
Oh yeah, a ton of videos.
Yeah, ton of videos, man. Let's see. No Thumb says, what was the moment you thought I made it?
I don't think I've never, no. I mean, no. I don't think I'll ever feel like I made it. I mean, I've made $50,000 in a month. Didn't feel like I made it. I mean, it's that shit's within you. It's not some placement. It's not, I mean, I guarantee if I had the #1 Billboard hit on the charts right now, like my buddy Ayo does with WAP, I'm not sure that I would feel like I made it, because it's not where you are right now. It's kind of where you are when you meet your creator, as crazy and hippie as that sounds. I want to be around to spend time with my kids. I want to continue to develop a loving, caring, best friend type of relationship with my future wife. I want to be able to walk my dogs, run around, roll around, be goofy, be able to make the content that I want to make, be able to say no to a whole lot of people that I don't feel comfortable working with. And making it is being able to have that type of freedom. And so I don't feel like I made it. I just feel like I'm making a dent in my goals and my aspirations. So, I think people that are hungriest are the ones that don't feel like they made it. They just keep going, never stand in one place too long.
That's great, man. It's never enough. It's never enough. Yeah. It's one of those things, man. Just, it's like, cool, I did that, and you're stoked about it, but it's like,
on to the next one.
What's
I
next?
I didn't open my 100,000 subscriber plaque for YouTube until I hit 200,000 subscribers, because I wanted to make sure that it wasn't a fluke. I wanted to make sure that my work ethic didn't slow down. So I did a video when I hit 200,000 just here a few weeks ago, finally opening the plaque. I left it in the closet for a year, a little over a year. So, wow. You like trophies, accomplishments, you got to keep going, because it means something for a moment in time. And unless it's really impacting a lot of people's lives and you're doing good, it's not enough, because money, things, they don't bring fulfillment or happiness to the majority of us.
Damn. Well, congrats on 200K. That's pretty good.
Thank you.
It's pretty damn good.
Welcome to the life of YouTube. I'm like looking at 500,000 now, and then at 500,000, I'll be like, why don't I have 1 million yet? I've been on YouTube for 15 years. So,
well, I mean, you kind of said earlier is like, the more you get, the more you you could get, like the potential to get, like, right, because they're
Sure.
just pushing it out more, right?
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
algorithm's working. And so
Yeah.
I mean, you're probably like answering as many comments as you can at this point, right? Like you're still, yeah,
Usually. I mean,
can't get to them all.
sometimes you can't get to them all. Sometimes you're so consumed with posting. And let's say that I spend 2 hours responding to every comment that I get on a new YouTube video. I don't spend another 2 hours responding to 200 comments on Instagram. I'll go through and like them usually if I'm exhausted for the day. And I have students that are in my mentorship program that I'm responsible for getting back to and having meaningful conversations with almost every day. So at that point, I have a teammate, Danny, who goes through some of my comments and he'll like them. And I try to stay very genuine with who I'm interacting with. I don't have my entire team acting as if they're me. But some things, for efficiency reasons, you do what you can with the time you have to make everybody feel like, hey, I didn't comment back, but I saw you. And then next time around, I'll say what's up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. That's how I am. I try to get to them all. But when you're running like several platforms, and like I run the stuff for the band and myself, so it's like
Yeah.
I got double of everything,
Yeah,
you know.
man.
And it's just you're trying to keep up, man. It's so like I'll miss DMs over here, I'll miss the comments over here. It's just I feel
They get
bad,
flooded. They get flooded.
flooded, man. So like, I thank you for answering my DMs and my emails. So yeah,
Of course, man. I
thanks.
got to it eventually.
You did.
Sometimes you'll catch me. I mean, I get between 200 and 400 DMs a day and emails and stuff like that. So if I take vacation, like my fiance is kind of used to it by now. We've been together almost 4 years.
Done.
I'll just be sitting there running through it because if I take like a weekend off, I'll come back to 1,100 missed DMs and emails and stuff. It's just, it's like a good problem to have, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
at some point, you become a little bit more calloused with people just asking really dumb questions that you've covered so many times. You're like, are you trolling me? Deleted. Like, I only respond to people that I can tell are genuine. And I mean, there's people that ask me life question, or they'll give me their life story and then ask me all these detailed questions. And then I go and they have 2 posts on Instagram. They're not following me and they're following 1,700 other people and they have 49 followers. So I'm like you probably sent this to every single person that's on YouTube doing marketing or music, business stuff. Like, Godspeed.
Yeah. Do you get like those the real DMs from people that's like the deep stuff? Like, I get a lot of like, your music changed my life. I just got out of a really abusive relationship, or
Sure.
I was, ready to end it all. Like I get that stuff a lot more frequently these days.
Yeah.
And it's really heavy, man. And I feel a
Very hard.
responsibility to answer back with something really profound, I guess. And
Yeah.
I feel like, can I do this? Can I like, is this my place to like,
It's a slippery slope, man. I mean, when I go through my DMs, there's some heavy stuff. I mean, the requests are out the wazoo. I try to get back to people. And I'm real with people. If people give me a life story and they're saying, I just broke up with my girlfriend, I say, look, there's nothing wrong with taking a break from music. Maybe music, if it's giving stress in your life right now, you need to take a break and have a breakup with it to kind of revisit it and fall in love with it again. People ask me all the time, Adam, I don't want to go to college. My parents won't let me drop out. All I want to do is become a famous rapper. And I live in Indonesia. I'm like, don't drop out of school. Trust me, like, do school. You can do music as you do it. You can do music afterwards, because you might be the next brain surgeon that comes up with something that really changes the world, rather than trying to be the next 6ix9ine or, Drake, So I never try to discourage people, but I also don't send people into a bullshit tailspin, trying to preach like, go after your dreams. Like, some people suck.
yeah,
Some people are god awful. Like, become better before you jump in with both feet. Like, just being real. If somebody were to tell me that when I first got started, I probably would have been a much better producer, much faster. But some people are not. I mean, I was told this a long time ago, and I don't mean to offend anybody, but some people are not born to be number ones. Number ones are the entrepreneur. Number ones are the CEO of the company, the person that founded it. A lot of people are born to be number twos, the vice president, second in charge, the senior VP of something, but they still need some guidance from the person that has the ultimate vision. Some people are born to be number fives, right? They can become a manager, they can become this or that, but it's really freaking hard to be a number one. It's really freaking hard to be successful at being a number one or a number two. And so you really have to dig deep and say, do I love music enough to make it a business and to make it work? Or am I just really in love with the process? Because a whole lot of people go bowling, right? But very few people are professional bowlers that, have what would a professional bowler drive? Like a Cadillac CTSV or something. That'd be like the bomb diggity bowler guy would have like a nice Cadillac or something. But all jokes aside, I think that we really have to be real with the people that contact us, because a lot of people in my case, if I do a really good job with people on YouTube, they stop watching my content. I'm cool with it. I understand it. I've embraced it. If you're really good at teaching somebody something, they don't need you forever. They move on, and you've helped them in that place in their life. But people ultimately start feeling like they know you, and that's great. I feel like I know a lot of my channel family, a lot of people that watch my stuff, but they know more about me than I know about them, because I never see their face. I don't know what their life is like. And so they'll come to me with some really deep stuff and share that with me. And I take that very seriously. However, I'm also not one to give advice to somebody that I don't really know as far as interpersonal relationships, depression, mental health stuff. That's not my place. I'm a guy who teaches music marketing and makes music on these keyboards during the day and play with my golden doodle, Daisy. Like, I'm not a certified therapist. I'm not a doctor by any means. I'm not a family counselor. I've dealt with depression. I've had a whole lot of friends kill themselves over the years, and I've dealt with death. But I can only give a little bit of nugget of advice, because if I open the gates, then I'm going to get messages like that 10x every single day. So you kind of have to learn how to maneuver around that stuff, not just ignore, not just block or delete or anything like that, but maneuver, because the weight of it can be really heavy, and it can have a negative effect on your own productivity and your own mental health. I could tell you stories that would, kind of shock you, as far as, past students messaging me with, a lot of mental health things. And it's a slippery slope, man. There's no cut and dry way to answer it. It's just, you kind of have to navigate it.
Yeah. I've had to, I think there's been a couple where I've had to like preface it with like, I might not be qualified, but here it goes. Just kind of like, but
Try doing that 300 times a day.
Yeah, dude.
Like, you can't.
It's wild, man. I try to be, there for people if it goes that way. But for the most part, it's usually lighthearted stuff. But every now and then you get that. And I guess just kind of wrapping it up here. I don't want to keep you too late, but what is a way to how would like a producer like that is getting into making beats and stuff like that, because I do like mostly like the rock stuff, reggae, whatever.
Sure.
I make beats here and there, for fun. But
Yeah.
for somebody that really tries to get into making beats, I don't think I've really covered this before because I don't know anything about it. What's a good way for somebody to start making beats and maybe even start selling them? Are there good websites for this, or how would they do that?
Yeah, actually, there's a website out there that's relatively new. It's great for producers. You can sign up for free, called thecharts.com. I know that because I own the platform. Producers could sell their beats, their kits, their songwriting services, mixing services over at thecharts.com. Absolutely free to sign up. There is a granddaddy top tier. I call it an elite account. That's $10 a month, but it's free to join and get started, get everything set up over there. But having a beat store, whether it's the charts, whether it's any of these other websites, whether it's just a SoundCloud embed into a Wix website, it's all about visibility. It's all about sharing this stuff with the world. I, again, think that kind of emulating the stuff that's on the radio is easy, low-hanging fruit to get people's interest. And then, again, go to Instagram, go to YouTube, go to SoundCloud, and start finding customers that are willing to pay for beats. Great way to do this is go on SoundCloud or YouTube and type in "produced by." Go to a website such as BeatStars is a big boy in the space. Find artists or find producers that are well known on those platforms, and then go to YouTube or SoundCloud and type in "produced by" good friend of mine, Superstaro, because artists that pay for beats are typically the same ones that are giving credit to the producers. So therefore, then you find their Instagram, you go start conversations, you interact with some of their content. You don't jump into the DMs with spam, but that's how you start building that following of paying artists. You don't just go scour the world for anybody that uses hashtag artist in their Instagram post. You also want to stay on brand and stay on target with who the genre is targeting, who the genre or the genres of music that you're making. But yeah, figure out your pricing, figure out your terms, what you want to offer. Do you just want to offer beats? Do you want to offer drum kits, services, like I mentioned earlier? And then work on your branding. Why should people buy beats from you? Why should people care? You know, what kind of experience are you going to give people that's different than the 50,000 other people out there that are doing type beats on YouTube? Are your visuals different? Do they, stand out from the rest of the crowd? Are your captions or your instrumentals themselves something that are going to gain people's attention? Go into it that way and then start conversations. Don't jump right into sales. It's all about, imagine this. Imagine if you were to go to a car lot and you're standing outside for an hour looking at a vehicle and the salesman's sitting in the showroom with a bottle of water saying, man, it looks hot out there. I'm not going out. If they want a car, they can come to me. Versus the guy that brings them water bottles within the first 2 minutes of them sitting there and they say, hey, I'm like, no pressure. I know it's super hot out here. My name's Tim. Do you need any information about this? Let me know if you need any more water. I'll be back inside, or, let me give you a test drive. If like the servicing, the communication and what they're met with is going to go a long way. Even to this day, even though I don't have a public catalog, I sell a lot of beats to return customers that are on my email list that if I have some music that really isn't great for sync or it didn't get placed through an A&R or whatever, I send out an email and say, hey, first come, first serve. These are available for X amount. And usually within 72 hours, they're sold. I don't have to do any type of $25 beat leases, even though there's nothing wrong with that. That's how I started making really good money with selling beats online. So you need to have a brand that people care about, consistent releases. I'd say 2 to 3 new beats a week on average would really help build up a catalog very quickly, because again, you don't want to promote this big, thing that people are getting all excited about and taking 2 seconds to go click over on. And then you have like 1 or 2 beats or even 5 beats. Malcolm Gladwell wrote a book a few years ago called Blink. It's all about the first few seconds of any interaction. You can't buy that back. So when you go out guns blazing, you need to be ready to service that person. You need to be able to go out there and really retain a client. Even if they don't buy it from you today, doesn't mean they're not going to be interested down the line. If you have different type of beats, set up things like surveys asking what type of beats they're interested in. You could give away some stuff to start building an email list, and then circle back anytime you have some pertinent information that they might need. If you have a survey on your email sign up saying, what kind of beats do you like? Then you can kind of start segmenting out your email marketing to send these beats to people who like neo soul, send these beats to people that like trap, send these beats to people that like pop music, right? Bubblegum stuff, top 40. And so then it whittles it down from warm traffic, turns it into hot traffic. And that's the way you could start getting conversions pretty quickly before you ever even jump into paid advertising.
Dude, you're like a well of knowledge.
I've been doing this a long time, man. That's
so great. No, that's awesome. I didn't even realize you. I didn't even. That was just a off, question related to beat making. I thought some people might get some value from that, and then here you like own a beat selling website. That's amazing.
Yeah, I haven't talked about it publicly really, because my developers are adding in some more features and whatnot into it. It's going to be awesome. My team and I are going to start pushing it later this year into next year. And that's really a 2 to 5 year plan. I said, a lot of producers ask me how to sell beats online. A lot of producers are asking me how to build funnels and this and that. What better way to really educate than to own the platform? Therefore, I'm not guessing the algorithm. I could teach them exactly how to do things, walk them through the entire process, allow them to set up shop for free. It's a win-win for the entire community.
Dude, that's so great, man. Yeah, well, good for you, man. I like. I'll probably end it here, man. 'Cause you're just like, I'm just saying. I'm sure we could talk for like 3 fucking hours about this stuff.
It seems like it, right?
I just love nerding out about this shit.
Yeah.
But seriously, man, it is yeah, right. Freaking masterclass here.
Oh, thank you. That's funny.
No, I just so yeah, man. Dude, very inspiring to have you on the show. I'm so glad you came on. I'm glad we were able to work it out. And just hearing your story and back from the Wisconsin days and start making beats, man. and then just everything you're doing now with YouTube and Instagram and then now your beat store. It's just and then you're teaching people here as well at 1,000 students. That's amazing.
Yeah,
so good for you, and just like following your dreams. And
man,
yeah, you did it. But no, man, it's one of those things. It's another case right here, just of someone that worked hard and is working and will continue to work hard because you love what you do, and I appreciate it, and I'm sure everybody here appreciates it. I can't wait for this episode to get a little bit more, man. Thanks. Where can everybody find you?
Yeah, so Adam Ivy everywhere for the most part. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, at Adam Ivy, adamivy.com. I'm actually launching the next 20 Days of Focus challenge on Tuesday, September 29th. It's free to join. And this is something that I do with my community every once in a while, where we go through 20 days of only 5 tasks a day. And I'm going to release a video on Friday explaining it. It changes lives, man. I've had more welling messages where I'm almost in tears from the 20 Days of Focus challenge than I ever imagined in my life. And it's just something that I do right along with everybody who participates. I don't need a credit card or anything. Just I actually don't even need an email, although we do. For an email, we do provide a challenge guide, which gives people, it walks them through it, right? Something to write down on.
Yes.
Had that over here. But anyway, yeah, Adam Ivy. I'm not trying to sell anybody anything. The 20 Days of Focus challenge, like I said, is for free. Really helps build an Instagram following quickly, as well as other platforms. And just it's a real feel good thing, man. Real feel good thing to end 2020 on a high note.
I think you're a life coach. You're just trying to fucking tell us you're not.
I'm the next Tony Robbins, but 3 feet shorter.
Right on, man.
That guy's a giant. He's like 8 feet tall.
I know. I've only seen footage, but yeah, he looks like he's fucking huge. Dude,
yeah, man.
Thanks again for the information, and everybody, please go follow him at find him Adam Ivy just everywhere, all the platforms.
I appreciate the opportunity, man. I really do. Thanks to everybody who's watched. Had a great time. Hope to be a guest down the line. Hit me up at 200.
Yeah, seriously, bro. We got plenty more to talk about. Trust me, man.
Absolutely.
Well, dude, Adam Ivy, thank you so much, man, for coming on the show. Everybody, this is Tales from the Green Room, episode number 129. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button, like that shit, and ring the bell, baby, so you know when I go live. If you're on Facebook right now, please like it, share it around, do all the things. Guys, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you real soon, man. Adam, I'll see you in a minute.
Appreciate it.